bringing it. No, stop doing that. Bringing it in for a landing here. Or are we taking off? No, we're taking off. No, we're not.
How you
Sorry.
landing it? First of all,
I know. We didn't even take the plane off, but we're landing it.
yeah. So this is what my ears look like.
Oh, everybody, look. Mitch has got ears. He's got ears.
I mean, you know, for ears, they're not that big. They're not that small. I'd say I'm an average guy.
You got big earlobes.
So
You could put some big old gauges in those ears. Like you could do like the hula hoops in those ears.
Yeah, see, this camera's got me going backwards here. I don't know. What do you think I could get in there? 3/8?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We could stretch that out, and put a big old like a dinner plate in there.
What if I did, dude? What if I?
I think you lost your mind. Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to the Off the Rails podcast.
Off the rails. Hey, just let everybody know why I don't have
get
headphones
prepared.
on.
Yeah, and get prepared.
These are my headphones, and this is the end of it, which doesn't really plug into anything because it's.
Well, just stick it in the headphone jack and see if you can hear anything.
Yeah, it don't work.
No. Oh.
Well, so
Well,
my audio might be all over the place. Apologize in advance. I don't think it is. I'm a professional. We've been doing this long enough. So, I mean, you know, what could go wrong?
We're using professional very loosely today. Very loosely.
Oh, where you at, buddy? What's going on? You don't look like. I don't see a dining room table behind you. I don't see moose. I don't see moose behind you. I don't hear pots and pans rattling, sinks going, toilets flushing. What's happening? What's going on?
I'm in my new studio.
Ooh, new studio. Wow.
Otherwise known as my mother-in-law's dining room. / construction zone.
Ain't no dining gonna be going on in there for a little while.
I just ate here.
Is the mother-in-law gonna make a guest appearance?
She ran off. As soon as I turned the camera on, she said, all right, I gotta go.
What? She done runned off.
Yeah, maybe we can get her on another segment. I can get her to pop in for a second, but she runned off.
Yeah, I'll ask her how long it's taking you to get down there and do that job. I'm a loose cannon tonight, man. I've been venting on Facebook, and I'm a loose cannon.
Hadn't you? That moment of silence I took is because I gave Mitch a dirty look because he's trying to dig me a hole. Oh my gosh! But we're here. We're here though. We're here and we're doing the work, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And like a real construction worker, I'm drinking a cold beer tonight.
What is that? Flight?
Mm-hmm. It's Yingling. It's so light. It's just really food color flavored water. It's my first one, if you believe that. It really is.
Well, you know, you got to keep it light at the in-laws. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look at my pencil.
What happened to you, man?
Guess what it is?
Listen, as soon as you go back into the remodeling world, this is what we have.
Yeah. Guess what's on my pencil?
It's sealant, grout,
mortar.
Caulk.
Yeah, you're on the money. It's caulk. I mean grout. I mean mortar. Jeez, Jiminy Cricket, what is it? Yeah, my hat's got. Here's my. I'll have to like scrub this from putting it up with mortar on my finger. It's just all over it. And this is a brand new hat. I just took the label off this hat for this trip, and I have already. Like I got a little waterproofing membrane in there where I hit my head on it. I got some, just general sheetrock dust.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a work hat. I'm a working man.
I like it, man. It shows that you're doing something. You're not just over watching TV.
Right. Well, I don't think I've watched YouTube a couple of nights just laying in the bed, but I hadn't watched a whole lot. Hadn't been a whole lot of downtime on this little trip here. Let me just tell you, I did.
I'll tell you what. Now, I'll say this: every time I've called you, like there's been noise going on. It's like you got 4 guys over there working. There's saws buzzing and stuff happening, and you're like, "Hello."
Got an app. It's got sounds.
Noise making an app. Well, let's. I don't really know where to start, man, because we're going to be all over the place. So you are at the mother-in-law's house, and you're taking on a fairly large job from the looks of it.
Yeah. So we're in the so it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2,000 square feet. Not great big house, not very small house. It's kind of right there in the average. And I've done the master bedroom, master bath, and I've done one of the bedrooms and like half of another bedroom. So, and we're moving our way through the whole house. But right now I have torn out the second bathroom. So sharing a bathroom with mother-in-law, that's a lot of fun logistically to have one bathroom. It's funny because when we were looking at places, we almost rented this house that had one bathroom, and boy, am I glad that we did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know how we would do that, but that bathroom has been completely gutted. I've got a new tub in, and I'm putting tile on the wall. And then I'll finish up the tile tomorrow and tile the floor tomorrow. And then be able to get a toilet in there.
Pronto. Dude, you're moving right on along. You haven't been there that long.
I've been here. I got here last Sunday, so today's Saturday, right?
Yep.
So I didn't work Sunday at all. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So six days.
A single dude now. You're like, ladies, he's not single. I'm just saying he's the only guy there.
And, and working out the cabinetry in the middle of this, and working on drawings with you, and plus getting materials, and in this town, it's, if you need something, it's terrible. It sucks. There's I told Kim for retirement, I think I'm going to open up an Ace Hardware franchise down here and just put everybody out of business.
Yeah,
because if you do find it, you pay twice for it, and but that's if you find it. That's if you find it.
Yeah, not a lot of. I don't know where the builders and everything get all their stuff from down there.
Nobody's
they probably have enough, time ahead of time to order it.
Yeah, but nobody's really building here either.
Yeah,
there's no economy. I mean,
yeah,
there's no real business. Like you don't. There's nothing to bring you here, really. I mean, I hate to say that, but there's just really not.
And the roads are absolutely terribly marked.
They got shoulders, though.
Yeah. So a running joke is that the town that Travis is in, we had it. It's where we grew up. Okay. Right. And everything was fine. Everybody knew what to do, where to go, where to turn. I mean, you could drive through that town with your eyes closed. And for whatever reason, somebody got on this kick of, like, there's this long 4-lane stretch of road that's 2 or 3 miles long.
It's a highway. It's a state highway.
Yeah, and everybody has had 4 lanes forever. And now they made it 1 left lane, 1 right lane, and like a 30-foot wide turning lane in the middle. But there's no streets. There's like two off streets on the whole thing. You don't need a turning lane. Why? I mean, and anyway, we joke about it all the time, but it really is a pain in the neck to navigate through there at night when it's raining. It's really bad because it's hard to tell. But
and that new back road they did over there by Walmart. All right, good job, Alexa. Thanks. Just randomly going off over there. But they took down a 4-way section, stop sign. So now you feel like you're about to get ran over as you go through it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact for you. When you come in the backside to go to the Walmart,
the Walmart,
and you go across that little bridge and you take a right after the bridge and takes you in the back way to Walmart. That red brick house that's way up on that corner, that corner lot.
Yeah.
That was my granddaddy's house. I grew up around there. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know that.
That's where we spent a lot of weekends, and all that stuff was right there in that. And man, he would not be okay with a Walmart being right there. I can promise you that.
I bet not.
But anyway, so Trey got to meet you for the first time the other day.
Yeah. Is that really the first time we met? Yeah. I guess in person, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
We showed up down there, and kind of on a whim. I had a couple other things to do for legal reasons. I can't disclose what else I was doing down there. But that's actually a true statement.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you off air. But anyway, I was down there and I said, well, and I lied to both of y'all because I told you I had to come down to help my brother.
Uh-huh.
And I told my brother I had to come down to help you because he was like, well, don't make a special trip, you know. And so I lied to both of you because I just wanted to go down there. Like I wanted to get out of here for the evening and just get out and go down there. So I lied. Sue me. I lied.
Hey, little white lie never hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm. Everything got taken care of.
Yep.
And so we went and looked around, looked at the kitchen, looked at the bathroom, looked at the pantry, the built-ins and all that stuff, and kind of got an idea of, you know, what's going on, what's happening. And now we're in the phase of...
Made fun of me a lot about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 against 1 when
Did
you're
I have
down
anything that y'all didn't make fun of me about? I mean...
we didn't make fun of your looks, your clothes, your hat, or your vehicle. We did make a little fun of your brand new trailer.
Oh. Well, what's wrong with the trailer?
Well, we can't afford it, so we could make fun of it.
Oh, I found you a brand new one down here for $5,800.
Ooh.
Brand new, gray, blacked out, 16-foot. Out the door, $5,800.
I need a like a 26-foot.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's on the list that is getting shorter and shorter to becoming something we have to have.
I feel like you just need to go to a box truck instead of a 26-foot trailer.
Man, it's the getting it up and down, man. I mean, these big islands, I don't know how to facilitate that.
Lift gate.
Yeah, I mean, that would work on the smaller stuff. But man, you know, some of these cabinets, like we do them 17 foot, 15 foot.
You're just going to have to quit building so big, or you want to put a load dock in the back of the shop so you can back up to it. Just dig down. Dig you a hole so you can back down.
Spin the tires long enough, she'll sit down.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, we had a good time. Travis took us out to eat. They got a really good Mexican place down there. It's a little pricey, but I feel like, you know, like it ain't that pricey, but I feel like the food is really good.
I think it's worth what you pay.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's definitely on the higher end for Mexican, but it is it's a value. Like you're not just getting hammered on the price. I mean,
right.
you get a boatload of food.
Yeah.
I've never walked out of there hungry.
No. And the place is really nice. It's always super clean, well kept. So, you know, it's just part of it.
Yeah. Now the amigo in the corner singing, I could have lived without him. I would have liked to have thrown up, you know, made a paper airplane out of a $20 bill and asked him to take a break. But
look, airplane out of $20 bill. Look, for you guys who've listened to the podcast a long time, I tried to get Travis to go knock his music stand down, but he wouldn't do it.
Only getting fights in Mexican restaurants at home, not on the road. I don't want to have to call in all my favors with the local police department.
Yeah. By now they'll be like, Travis, who?
I don't know many guys on the police department anymore, so I got to tread lightly.
Well, yeah. So you're going to be down there. You're going to be dealing with that for a while. We have plans to work on these cabinets next week.
Yep.
And I think, like right now, I feel like if we get, because there's a lot of doodads that goes in the kitchen. So here's some cabinetry stuff. You have like pullouts and spice pullouts and trash pullouts and cutlery drawers and all of this stuff. And it's not as easy as, like, if you're a customer and you tell your cabinet guy, I want a cutlery drawer here, or I want a trash pullout here. It's not as easy as just saying okay and doing it. Like, these things require a certain width of an opening to work.
I have pages of notes where I've been going through all these items and finding them and what's the part number, what's the minimum opening, what's the height opening, and making sure, you know, and
and then who's got it in stock, who don't have it in stock, and well, we can't use that one, we have to use this one. And so you kind of have to know what the customer wants, and then you have to go and look and see how big the room is and basically get a general layout. And then you go back and tweak the openings again based on, the width of these inserts that we're putting in and all this stuff. A lot of work goes in, like, just for something that you guys, when it shows up there, you have a spice pull out that comes out and goes in. But we're sitting behind the scenes making sure it's as symmetrical as possible, as utilitarian as possible. Everything works. It makes sense to have the trash pull out where it is and not completely, on the other side of the kitchen. And you're dealing with a small kitchen, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's a small kitchen.
I mean, what did we, 118 by 114 inches? Something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, I was going to say about 10 by 10 kitchen. And that is 1, 2, 3. It's all 4 walls, but there's a doorway between the fridge and she's got a peninsula in there. And then that's where you walk, is through the edge of the peninsula in front of the refrigerator.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff that we're trying to do to make the kitchen, as functional as possible. And there's just a lot of work. So, it's just another reason that going to Lowe's and getting some cabinets and saving a couple $100 is not worth it in the long run.
And this one is it's such a spatial challenge that you're not going to get what anybody needs functionally out of, RTAs or, Lowe's cabinets,
Yeah. And almost the smaller the kitchen, the more doodads and bells and whistles you really need, because you don't have a lot of counter space. You don't have a lot of cabinet space to store things, and all that. If you have a really big kitchen, you can dedicate a drawer for spices,
right.
But if you only have 4 drawers in the kitchen, then, it's not really a very good option. So, and Travis and we spending a lot of time trying to figure out, what can go where, what's best, to use. So it's just a lot goes into it. And then you have all your clearances, right? So in a 10 by 10 kitchen, here's what you have to think about: the range, the dishwasher, and the refrigerator. They all have to open and shut doors.
And opposing drawers and corners.
So you have to, basically the range is in the center of a wall. So you've got drawers on the cabinets to your right and drawers on the cabinets to your left that have to open all the way and not hit the range. So, I mean, it's super complicated. You just have to go through corner by corner and just verify, make sure you have, all your openings. So it's actually, I would rather do a big kitchen with lots of room than a small kitchen that we're trying to, pack a lot of features into.
And it's the first kitchen I've ever drawn. So, for a full kitchen. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of challenges and different ways to do it. And, then you got the way I draw cabinets versus the way Mitch draws cabinets, like that, trying to figure out. And then it's just, it's a lot logistically. Like the whole project logistically is a lot,
Yeah, it is a lot. And we're trying to borrow my cabinet shop that's fully operational,
wide open.
Yeah, wide open. So, but we have ways to get around that. Because I've been there before where we had to cut out 2 jobs at once or something like that. So that's not a big deal. And I don't care if I'm here late, or whatever, or if I stay late and throw together, a few of Travis's cabinets or something. I am very interested to get you in the paint shop on a job that big, and let you see that, the difference in like a place that's used to painting a lot of cabinets and stuff at one time, versus, where you don't really paint, but a lot of these shops, they only paint 1 or 2 cabinets at a time, and then they have to move them and stuff. So, but it's got good sides and downsides.
Yeah. I'm curious because I don't paint. So it's, I want to do something different. So anytime I do something different, it's fun.
Oh yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. And so as far as on my end, because that's kind of what you're going to be doing, and we'll have updates for you guys and pictures. And I don't know if it's going to be, Well, yeah, by the time this releases, so if you're listening to this and you want to see us kind of, do something or make a little video or something, you got any ideas, just shoot us a message and let us
Be
know.
on the socials next week for sure.
Yeah.
We'll post, especially while we're together. We'll do some videos. I'll have my tripod and stuff, and we'll do some videos, and there's no telling what's going to happen in them. That's for sure. I got my hat. Do I have a cat scratch shirt that I can wear while I'm in your shop? Like,
yes.
Can I be official?
Yeah. What color you want? Gray, blue, red.
I want sleeves.
No sleeves.
No sleeves.
Well, I mean, there'll be t-shirts, no long sleeves.
Okay, but sleeves are.
Yeah, you got these kind of sleeves.
Look, we can't let these things be just like.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I got nervous.
Yeah,
Can't do nothing.
People just be stopping by the shop all the time. Like, hey, I heard there's a show here. I mean, we gotta leave the cannons under covers.
Well, you got to be careful because there's some ladies that like to walk over there at the park.
Oh yeah, that's
across
right.
the street.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I ain't bragging, but I'm just saying sometimes they be peeping in here. They be trying to peep. But anyway, as far as me, I'm gonna be cutting out a job that I'm doing next week and doing what I can on it, getting it put together. Travis and I are taking a field trip on Monday.
Road trip.
Yeah, work trip. But I told Travis, I said, I'm going to snatch you up on Monday and we're going to go measure a house for Frank. Got to be up there 9:00 in the morning and we're going to go measure it. And I mean, it's not going to be like some whole new world for Travis. I mean, it's just going to be a bigger version, but same thing. We have to measure everything. So,
I am going to bring the iPad with me though. And I'm going to do notes just like I would if it was my own job so that we can see how I'm taking notes on the iPad. Because I haven't had a chance to like go into the wild with the iPad yet since
so catch us up. You sent the Remarkable back.
Remarkable is back. I don't think I've gotten my money back yet, but that's all right. By the way, if you want to try the Remarkable, if somebody wants to try the Remarkable, it's a 100-day return. And they encourage you to use it. Like if it comes back with nibs missing out of the box, that's fine. If you use the little cardboard nibs, that's fine. But it is a 100-day trial on it. So if somebody wanted to try,
can't complain about that.
No. And I think they realize that it's for a lot of people, but I think they realize that it's not for everyone. So they give you that big old window to try it in. But so I did get the iPad. Excuse Papa's Bible cover. I don't love the color of this case, but the most important thing is that I wanted a case that had a pouch for the pen.
Oh yeah.
Because I did the Gen 9 and the Gen 9, which is cheaper, but it does not allow the pen to magnetically stick to the side of the case anywhere. So, but
I think I would still like the pouch better.
I don't think I would really like it stuck to the outside of it. I didn't like that on the Remarkable, That was one of the things. I like this little pouch on the outside. It just sticks in it. This is not the Apple Pen. I let Mitch play with this the other night when they came down. I don't remember what it is. Anyway, but it's a knockoff. It works. I don't know if it works better than the Apple Pen. I've not compared it, but it's not like $110. It was like $25.
Yeah.
So works just fine. And then, like I said, I just did a Gen 9 pad here. And it looks like a privacy screen, but it's not. It's the paper screen. It's the paper. I can't remember what it's called. Paper-like. Paper-like. Just so you know, I didn't know this when I ordered the paper-like screen protector thing. There's 2 of them in the package. So when you see the sticker shock at like $45 for the screen protector, there are 2 of them in there.
Oh.
So.
Well, I'll be getting one soon.
But so far, I mean, I haven't figured out an app. Like I've got 2 apps downloaded that I kind of, play with a little bit. But so I don't know which app I'll be going with, long term or anything. But so I'm very excited Monday to take it into the wild and try it.
Yeah.
And see.
Yep. It's going to be fun. And I'm taking it. So we got to go work that morning,
Yep.
but then I'm taking you somewhere for lunch that to me is like the best hamburger I've ever had. But they have plenty of other stuff on the menu. But it's
we like our groceries. I mean,
oh yeah,
we ain't gonna starve to death. I promise you. I promise
You ain't
everybody.
lying.
We ain't gonna starve. That's fine.
And there is a tool place up there that's kind of like a woodcraft.
Ooh.
It's up in the middle of nowhere, and it's called Blade Runner.
Oh, you told me about this way back.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
on one of the episodes. You got
yeah.
a dado stack from there, I think
Yep,
it was.
got a dado stack from there. So if they're open, because his hours are just like all over the place. If they're
Gotcha.
open, we'll go up there and we'll see what he's got going on.
I got my wallet.
And then we're going to come back to the shop.
I don't have my personal debit card because it got compromised on this trip. I don't know how in the world that happened, but business card's fine. I don't. I think Kim did that. I think Kim compromised my personal card so that I couldn't buy anything while I was gone.
Yeah, we got tricks up our sleeve, buddy.
I got a little fraud alert on my phone. I was like, nah, that's not me. And they're like, all right, we'll send you a new card. And I was like, golly, I'm out of town.
I think they hit me at the gas station because I got $95 in diesel fuel and then went in to buy like a drink and it declined the card.
Really?
Yeah. And then later on, I tried to use it and it went fine. So I don't know what that was, but we have a spending limit at our little podunk bank. And it was around the time that I knew Tammy was going to be paying a lot of bills. And I was, went through my mind, well, maybe she maxed her debit card out for the day and now she's, got mine out and I just spent another $100 on fuel. But that wasn't the case. She said, I don't know why it did that. And their machines sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, it's a gas station. Could have been an operator. Just saying.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to take Travis back and I talked Travis into letting me be in charge of 2 cabinets on this job, and I'm going to take him completely through the build process and let him see. Don't let me forget, though, to put 2-inch stiles on that.
Okay.
Because I'll put 1.5 inches, and then we won't have the same reveals as what we have in the kitchen.
Okay.
So don't let me forget that. But anyway, I'm going to show him how we process cabinets and put them together, and it's a corner cabinet, so I can show him how we handle corners and stuff. So
down and dirty.
Yeah. And then Travis is going to build some, and I'm going to look at how he does it. And we may stay the same. We may take something off each other. That's what you have to do. Is you can't go in this thing and assuming that the way you do it is 100% correct and right. You may see something else that makes a lot more sense. So,
and that's one thing that I want to applaud you on. Like as well, I'll tell you what. I want to talk about that a second. As we go into that, we'll hold that. Before we go, and what else you want to cover before we go to break? And I'll write that as a point down, and we'll.
Nothing. I think that's a good stopping point for now.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll take a little break. See what's going on, and then we'll come back and we'll hit that next topic up.
Copy.
All right. So we were talking about going through each other's work and looking at the different things from the builds, and that was one thing I wanted to talk about with you was because it's something that we've talked about a lot, and it's just the approach to things. And I just wanted to really applaud you and say thank you for the way that you went about dissecting my drawings. We'll call it that. So I'm trying to do this in a way that we won't, because 2% of the audience is actually cabinet builders. So I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose everybody. But because we've talked about the CAD drawings and diagrams a lot, in the computer softwares. But essentially, a cabinet's a box, right? And you can put a box together 5 ways and it still be a box that has a door on it that you can put stuff in.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what a cabinet is. But so as you're doing this, you got to understand certain things, but you also want to know the process and why somebody does something. So that was one of the things. So the point is, I guess, is as Mitch was going through the drawing. So we were on our app that we can share screens with, and we're talking on the phone and we're going through the drawings. And instead of like, this looks stupid, which you could have easily done, or this makes zero sense. It was a lot of inquiring. What is this? Why did you do this? And giving me an opportunity to explain. And like I told him, I was like, I'm not saying that it's right. I said, but I can tell you the reason why I did it,
Right.
and the logic behind it. And then let's go from there, because again, as we've talked about, there's no formal training here. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of, I've watched YouTube videos and put things together, and we just have evolved this thing and done things differently. And don't screw that up again, consider this next time. But my basic cabinet construction process has been the same throughout. Like, there's some considerations I make now that I didn't know to make before. But mostly the cabinet assembly process is the same. Now, this job was drawn a little differently because I know that, like, we're going to be sharing space. I knew I needed to cut out like a couple of steps. Like, for example, everything was drawn in 1/2 inch, which I typically use 3/4. I would like to use 1/2 inch because it's easier and it's lighter. It's a little cheaper. There's some good pros to it, but pocket holing is a little bit of a challenge with my setup. And to be quite honest with you, I miss a lot shooting nails in a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
I just being 100% open and honest about what goes on, and it's aggravating. I was like, well, I'll just stick 3/4. It's just a lot easier. I took out all my dados because I knew we were going to be sharing a shop. I knew he was busy. So I took out all the dados, like dadoed bottoms, dadoed backs, took all that out, did plan on backs, and just did different things. But as we're going through the drawing, because they were different, there was a lot of just asking and inquiring to try to understand, like, my process and my mental deficiencies in the drawing process.
And part of that is you have to keep in mind that Travis, this is not Travis's first rodeo. It's not his first cabinet job. It's not the first time he's tried to put, a box together. So, like, he knows what he's doing. I mean, look at his Instagram. He does them all the time. He's got a way that works for him. And just like you said with the running your nails out of the 1/2 inch, if you have a finished end that you're going to have painted and is going to show, and you run a nail out, you just cost yourself 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on how bad it is, whether or not you have to use Bondo or to make the repair. And that 10 or 15 minutes completely erased the small amount of money you saved by running 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So if you're faster and have less nails shoot out using 3/4, then the way I view this is you need to use 3/4. Just use it and move on, because you don't have time to sit there and try to save $15 a sheet, and it costs you, an hour in repairs or something because your nails come out,
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those, and I have no idea. I haven't looked at any of Travis's drawings. He doesn't send them to me when he's doing a built-in and say, hey, what do you think? I had no idea. So and some of that stuff that I was asking about, like, you did on purpose.
Right.
Like the double shelves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there were some things that was like it. But on the but my point was on the surface, it would be like, hey, ding dong, you got 2 shelves stacked up in the same spot. Why the hell would you do that?
Yeah.
But it was not that wasn't the approach.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and we talked about that a lot. I think it was last episode, but the approach and the asking of the why without the with coming into it with an honest inquiry, versus just trying to come after somebody, like, oh, I see you did something wrong and I'm just coming after that wrong, just it just rang true to the conversation, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be careful with that stuff. We see it sometimes in the cabinet pages. Most of those guys are really good.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're willing, just posting your work on there gets you a lot of grace. But if you come in and, my thing is, if I see somebody poo-pooing on somebody's work, I go and I see, and every time it says this person has not posted anything yet.
Yeah.
And so I'll screenshot it and I'll tag them in the comment and I'll be like, "Will you show your work? Let us pick you apart."
Right.
But that's that's the whole thing. It's just there's ways to go because I don't know. You don't know. You don't know why. Maybe this person's doing it because he don't have the machine
Right.
that does it, or maybe he's working out of a small shop and he has to break stuff down a little bit more. You just don't know.
Well,
But
and I'll give a good example. Like I had these vertical partitions, and Mitch was like, "Why do you have them doubled up?" And I was like, "Well, two reasons." I said, "I just thought it would be easier just to order all one-sided plywood, just all pre-finished on one side, and then we'll just put them back to back. And now we've got two finished sided, just trying to make the order easier." And I honestly, because I don't work in half inch, I wasn't sure about drilling shelf pins in half inch and a divider and drilling on both sides. Because
right,
if you don't, I do know for sure, like 3/4, if you don't stagger them, at least you hit each other. Like
yep,
you'll hit the same shelf pin. So I was like, well, surely half inch is a different challenge. So I was like, well, that'll two things. We'll double it up, you know?
yeah,
But it was, some of it was not knowing. And it was like, well, I could see this potentially being a pitfall. So I'm going to try to plan for it,
yep,
and not that it was a wrong plan.
right,
It was just, he's like, oh, and Mitch was like, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point, but it's not a concern where you're just using more material than you need to, and we can step that down and save money and time,
yep,
which is always the goal, right?
yeah. You ain't lying, buddy.
You know,
Get in and get out. So I think it's gonna be neat to see each other's build process and kind of how everybody does it different. And like
yeah,
I had a couple of guys. One of them is a man named Darren, and one of them is a man named Joey. Joey I've known for, gosh, I don't know, 15 years, maybe 10. And we were in the fire department together. And so that's how I know him. And he's getting into building little tables and toy boxes and like no cabinetry, but just like kind of one or two off things that he can go in his garage and build. And, he's got him a little table saw and a chop saw, and he's learning how to paint. And, well, he knows how to paint, but, he's painting little things at a time.
yeah,
And Darren does cabinet jobs, but he doesn't do it for a living. He's got a real job.
okay,
And so he's working out of a garage. And man, they probably spent a couple hours here, and they were like, how do you handle this? How do you do this? Let me see your finish room. What do you do with your toe kick? How do you put it on? And all this kind of stuff. But I love that though, man, because I love to take somebody in and say, this is what I do. And they're like, well, I do it this way. And, sometimes you can go, that's not a bad idea, because let's be honest. In our world, I know 4 or 5 cabinet makers around me that are in my, basically work area, my AO. I'm friends with every one of them. We all send each other work, like all of us. I'll be like, hey, there's a lady called me, lives down your way. Do you want to do this job? And yeah, yeah, I'll do it. And one of them will call me and be like, hey, I'm slow. And he's an older guy. And he's like, hey, I'm slowing down. You got something you can send me? And I'm like, yeah, here you go. You can have this one. There's plenty of work, around for everybody. So
yeah,
there's really no reason to, sit and try to be the guy that doesn't want to help, don't want to talk to anybody else, don't want to give pointers to anybody else. What if every contractor on every job went in with the attitude of, I'm part of a team, I'm part of all the rest of these people that are building this house? Because, like if you listen to Rick and Bubba, they hate contractors. They don't have anything good to say about contractors.
listen to the stories, and
That's right.
you'll know why.
And yeah, and you see it on Facebook. Does anybody know a good contractor that'll actually do this and do that? Well, the point of this podcast and the point of Travis and I's whole business is to turn that idea around and
Yeah.
to say there are those of us out here that care about what you think, and we care about the product that we put out. We're not just putting junk out just to say we did the job and get a check and move on.
There are way more in the community that care than don't.
Right.
You know, and here's the unfortunate thing. And I don't know how you sort this out, but just because they care doesn't mean that their work is good. Like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like they can produce inferior work, but that doesn't mean that they don't care. Like, because I look back at some of my work and I can see the progress, right? I can see where it's changed. My care to do a good job on it hasn't changed at
Is
all
the
from day
same.
one to
Exactly.
now. It's the same. I've had the same desire to build the best thing that I possibly can. The thing is that every time I build something, I get a little better.
Yep.
So when I look back at the very first project, I'm like, get them doors, you know?
Why did they pay me for this?
Right. You know, I mean, I feel like I should, like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I maybe should call somebody and give them their money back, you know? But I will say that I do believe that at least in the cabinetry community, because I've backed out of some of those other communities, like especially like the handyman and like the remodeler and the contractor world. I've tried to kind of back out of those because I don't want to be in this world. I don't want my pencil to look like this. I don't want my hat to have mortar on it. Like, I don't want to cut tile. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do electrical. Like, I just don't want to do that, you know? But I do know that in these, especially in the cabinetry world, there are a lot more people who care about the product and the process. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a Facebook group to share ideas and to have conversations and to, you know, to help each other out. The community is strong. It really is. But you got those lurkers in there that are just there just to see what everybody else is doing and aren't really there to contribute, or they're just takers.
Yep.
Really. They're just there to take and not really contribute a whole lot. And you see, I don't contribute a lot. I've gotten to where I contribute more, but I don't contribute as much as I would like to because I know I'm still pretty green and I really just want to say something stupid.
Well, that and
you know,
but the more important thing is you don't go on there and poo poo on anybody.
No.
You have not poo pooed on anybody in that group.
No, I mean, and I'm not going to because of what I just said. Just because their work is not something that I really think is great work, I don't want to poo poo on it because I don't want to poo poo on their manhood and their man card because I don't know what they put into that. Like, I mean, it could be a toilet paper holder and somebody's put in, 50 hours, and all kinds of sweat and tears and stress, and hours of sitting and looking at it, trying to figure out, how do I attach this or what do it, and it looks like garbage, but that person has put all this time and energy into it and trying to produce something with their hands. And so I really try. Now, if you ask, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
And even then I'm pretty timid about.
Yeah. Well, there's still a way to approach it,
Yeah.
Well, maybe next time you can look at moving this door over or putting this here, there's still a way to do it. I'll never forget my wife, bless her heart, man. When I got I told her,
bless her little heart.
Bless your heart, baby. Bless your heart. I wanted a wood shop. And so she let me buy a building. I bought a 12 by 24 building. And you people that do this is about to blow your mind. I bought a shopsmith. I spent $1,500 on
the worst tool in America.
Yes. And I was a legit, you couldn't tell me nothing woodworker. I had everything I needed. But I didn't have any tool holders. And so what I did was I got a 2x4 and a handsaw. And I started cutting the 2x4 with the handsaw on my back porch and taking nails and a hammer, and I nailed it all together. and I went and I put it out there in the shop. We didn't have electric in the shop at this point. That's why I didn't build it on the Shopsmith.
Okay.
And I put them in there, and Tammy, and I was like, look, baby, look, I made these little tool holders. And she was like, that's great, baby. That's great. And they looked like a 2-year-old did it, man. They were like, and me, I was looking at it like it's a tool holder. I don't care. And she was looking at it like it was supposed to be the best project I've ever done. And now she's realizing, I done let this fool buy a shop.
This
and
is
a tool,
not going to work out. This is not going to work out.
Doing. So we've all been there, We've all built a toilet paper holder that looks like garbage. And so we just, and it bothers me when the people that do, $7-8 million jobs or whatever, and they own this huge company, they get on there and they want to tout everything that they do and all the knowledge they have. And it is ridiculous. We don't do stuff like that,
It's funny, kind of on the same topic. So there's a third person that rents the shop with Derek. So it's kind of like an old convenience store. So there's kind of a front and a back, but there's also this little side room. Well, the side room is not really big enough to do anything in. And when they moved in there, they didn't really have anything to go in there. So to kind of help with rent, they actually had 2 guys that were leasing that little space. They were just both part-timers. They would just come in, work a little bit, and they kicked in on the rent, but they got to use the big tools as part of, the rent, like the big, so they didn't have a table saw in this little room or a joiner or a planer. They got to use the joiner, planer, and table saw, the big stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so kind of give you where it's at. So one of them's moved out. Now one of them's just still there, and he's a Nashville firefighter, right? And so long story short, so the other main guy that uses the shop with Derek, used to work for like a museum and built like pieces for the museum, like display pieces and things like that. So he just does incredible work. I mean, just super meticulous. Now he doesn't like cabinets at all. Like it's too square for him. No pun intended. I mean, but he's very artsy and so he's very creative and he's just very good. He does a lot of tables and just different things. Anyway, so the firefighter came to Derek and was like, hey, you think I could get a little bit more work? Like, do you think, because every once in a while Derek will throw him a bone, hey, I got this if you want to do it, and he's got some skills, like, don't get me wrong, but he was like, do you think, maybe, instead of like giving Evan this, like, you think I could get this? And when Derek's telling me this, I'm like, he doesn't even have the skill set that Evan has to even ask for this. He's like, no, he doesn't. That's the problem. Like, so how do you politely tell somebody that they don't have the skill set to do something?
Yeah.
I mean, look, some people just aren't, they like to build things, but they weren't meant to build things. Like,
right. Yeah. It's not a mindset and it's not like a different,
it's
aptitude. I guess it is. I guess it's attitude, and it is, you do have to, I mean, there is a level of skill that's required to do this kind of tedious work. I mean, again, that's why there are cabinet maker shops, and that's why there's a dude on Facebook selling picnic tables for $150. Like, you don't want me to build you a picnic table because it's going to be thousands of dollars, but you don't want him building your cabinets.
Right.
So everybody's got a lane, and it's not for everybody. There's a lot of stuff out there I'm not good at. But
I mean, like, I watched this one dude that I know, he's been building a porch swing. Now I think he's just kind of been pecking at it a little bit, too. Yeah. But I mean, I think he's been in this porch swing for like 3 months, and I'm like, I mean, how are you making money for one? But it's amazing. Like, it's awesome,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an incredible build. And I'm like, I don't have I want it. Like, and it's something that I'm really trying to make sure that I'm trying to put more and more into the cabinetry world, which is slow down, think about the process. Don't put steps out of order. That's, in the remodel world, that's everything. If you do this before you do this, well, then you're going back and redoing things,
Yeah.
And so order of operations, I know with furniture, like watching YouTube guys who do furniture, I mean, order of operations is super important, you know. It's kind of like, I don't know, almost like in cabinetry, what would be a good example? I mean, for me, like would be like building the doors before I built the cabinets. Like
Right.
I
Yeah.
really, I mean, I already screw up doors enough as it is, so I really should make sure that I build the cabinets, I have the openings, and that I can verify all my openings, and then verify the doors.
Yep.
Which I know there are plenty of guys out there that are capable of building to the plans, and they can order their doors ahead of time, and they show up and they're right. Kudos to you. Must
I'm
be
not one
nice.
of them.
Must be nice. But um, no, but aptitude. It's not
Yeah,
not
that's a good word.
attitude,
Yep.
aptitude.
Yep.
Um, uh, just those abilities, and a lot of it you learn, like you just kind of go through.
I think the number one thing that you cannot be if you're going to get into the trades, any trade, is lazy. I
No,
think, in today's world, it's easy to be lazy. It's easy to be sucked in by TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and, all this kind of stuff. And I'm guilty of that too. But I know that is a weakness for me. So I just set myself time every night,
yeah,
and then I get home and I chill out and I'm like, okay, I can guilt free watch, you know, this dude on a crab boat, you know, or this dude that fixes cars or whatever the situation is. But you have to be driven, and you have to know that when you get up to work, it's work time, buddy. It's time to go to
yeah.
work and do what you got to do.
I
And
suffer with that. I do. I mean, there's a lot of days, or not a lot of days, but I have days where like it'd be halfway through the day, and I realize, oh my god, every second I've had, I've pulled out and scrolled Instagram, like walking like from the saw to the wood pile. I'm like scrolling Instagram on the way. I'm like, why am I doing this?
yep, yep,
Just some, and sometimes it takes longer than I would like for it to have the recognition that I'm doing that.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm right there with you.
And then you look back and you're like, you're trying to wrap up a project for a deadline, and you're like, man, I wish I'd had that hour back there, or
Yeah,
I kind of, I could have gone in an hour earlier on Tuesday, but felt like I was good on the timeline, so I kind of loafed around that morning, and didn't get to the
yep,
shop for a little bit later. Um, Especially if you're self-employed, like you can't be lazy. I mean, if you're working for somebody else, you could you're only going to get away with being lazy for so long before they're going to get tired of you being lazy on their payroll.
yeah,
But I would say for me, I don't, and it depends on how you classify lazy. Like because I don't think I'm a lazy person, right? I don't. Big picture, like big picture, right?
right.
Now, if you ask me, like getting up in the morning and rolling, I'm kind of lazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I'm not a shops open at 7. I'm gonna be there at 7. Let's get rolling. That's my day. That's my, I'm bad about punching my own time clock, and I need to be better about it. I mean, it's something that I really should be better about. And to be honest with you, being here, like where kind of the mother-in-law says, kind of like everything you do is just great, and you work so hard, and just oh, it's
yeah,
fine, who kind of encourages you to have some downtime, and there's nobody else in the bed with me to poke and say, get your lazy butt out of the bed, you got things to do.
yeah.
It's a real gut check, to
Oh
like
yeah, oh yeah,
make sure you get up and rolling.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And
but
that's
now,
kind of that was a bigger point of generally, being lazy. Like if it takes you 3 months to build a coffee table, you don't really want to build the coffee table. You
right.
you you know you kind of you think it would be neat to build a coffee table. You
You're a
know,
hobbyist.
yeah, you're a hobbyist,
And there's nothing
but
wrong with doing it, being a hobby. I mean,
that's
there's
right,
not.
that's
If you're
right,
not trying to, but if you're trying to feed people off of it, there's something wrong with that.
yeah. And there's so much stress, man, when you first get started. It's dude. I used to think that I forget what it was. There's always something. It was like I think Frank called me one time and he was like, "Hey, you guys left a piece of scribe off of this cabinet. It was like a laundry room cabinet or something, something small or whatever." And I was like, oh man, dude, I'm sorry, you know. And I went into this whole apology, and he was laughing,
Right.
and I was like, what's he laughing about, you know? And I said, man, I can come up this afternoon and I can hang it. I can hang it today. I can, throw it in the truck. He's like, no, dude, just next time you're up here, just throw it up there, you know. And I realized that I don't have to be quite as nervous. I just need to pay more attention,
Right.
when I'm there. And that's when I kind of started with the checklist and, well, let's go around and make sure everything's got scribe on it now, or let's do this. Let's make sure this. And it's like, dude, they know that I'm not going to do half a job and walk out on them.
Right.
I got paid the other day. I got paid for a job that's not done. I've got to go hang a hood up, and I got to put a paper towel drawer in. And so I was talking to the builder, and he goes, hey, let me know when you're ready. If you're ready to get started on the next one, I'll give you a check for it. And I said, okay. He goes, also, I owe you the second half on this one, I think. These are my words. I said, if I'm done enough to justify the second check, then you can pay me. Because he likes me to hang the hood after the backsplash.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have to wait on granite, then we have to wait on backsplash, then I come up and hang the hood on top of the backsplash.
Gotcha.
So there's nothing I can do about that, And he's like, I'm pretty sure you're going to come back. You've been working with me for 7 years.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're going to come back and hang a hood up, Plus, he's the one building my house. So he's like, plus, I still got to finish yours. So if you don't show up for mine, I ain't going to show up for yours, kind of thing.
Right.
But, you just, I don't know. It's a complete mindset that you have to have.
Yeah. But I think it's important to realize that laziness can come in a lot of different ways. And
it can get you 5 minutes at a time.
It can. I know, like I got a real good friend of mine. Before I kind of like started my own thing, he doesn't run his own business. He works for a company, but he works from home, right? And he's high enough in the company where there's not a whole lot of checks and balances. Like he pretty much, I mean, he's like a VP. He just kind of does his own thing. And I was always like, I don't think I could do that, man. I don't know if I could do that. Like, I just, and he, wakes up at, 5 and, he's online and, and doing this thing. He's like, he told me, which I really should incorporate. He's like, when I sit down at my desk, he said, I write down 5 things every day that have to happen. He's like, and then he's like, now whatever happens in the day that has to get taken care of, that still has to get, he's like, but the 5 things have to get done before I call it a day. He's like, now some days I can get everything that's popped up and everything, all 5 of those things done. I can get them done and be done by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm done for the day. He said, some days it's, 6 o'clock, He's like, but those are my absolutes. Those are the absolutes that I have to get done for that day, regardless of whatever other things come into affect or influence his day.
Yeah. And so I'll come in some days and let's say, well, I'll tell you what happened. We have we have a portion of this job that is either clear coated white oak or it's stained maple, clear coated. So that requires everything, the cabinets to have 3 coats total on them, and the doors get 2 coats on the back, 3 coats on the front, plus the stain coat, right? You got to go in there and stain them. So in my head, I'm like, no chance that Trey is going to be able to go back there, stain all these doors, all these cabinets, seal them, flip them, stain them, seal them, sand them, spray them, wait for it to dry, flip them, sand them, spray them, sand them, spray them. There's just no way. And then move on to something else.
Right.
And then take those cabinets out, load up with all new cabinets, swap it over to primer, start priming. I knew that couldn't happen. It's just not possible to do all that in a day. So what I told Trey was, I said, today, you're just going to come back here in the back. We'll stain these doors. We'll just clear them, sand them. We'll just do what we can do with it today. No pressure, Because if I would have went back there and I'd be like, hey, dude, we got to get this stuff, every bit of this done today. Let's get these out. Let's get the new cabinets in. We got 2 colors to paint on the cabinets. So we had to set them in there a certain way, darks on this side and whites on this side. And it's super complicated.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Do what?
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah, you better. No, just mix them all up together. We'll have tritones on some of these cabinets.
There you go. Just whatever's in the middle just kind of blends.
Yeah, that's right. And so I told him, I said, it's nice sometimes to have a day where you can just chill.
Yeah.
Just chill and work, And that's important, man. That's one thing that I didn't bring over from Hyundai was, buddy, because they were, as soon as we start, you wide open until that bell rings, Well, for your mental health in here, and I'm not some huge mental health guy, but I'm a mental, disaster. But I'm not like, oh, Trey, do you need me to hold your hand? How is life treating you today? We're grown men. We don't have talks like that.
Yeah.
But I also understand the importance of having a day where we're just not, buttholes and elbows everywhere,
Well, just like yesterday, we were going over the drawings, and you're like, hey, you kind of holler back at Trey, like, hey, the weather, I think weather's fixing to get nasty. You're like, why don't you go ahead and bump loose so you can get home safe, and, I'll see you tomorrow. Just,
yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, the buzzer rings at 3. I mean, whatever the weather is at 3, good luck,
Yeah. And, we had some bad weather one morning. I mean, it was supposed to be bad. And so I texted him the night before, and I was like, check the weather before you come in, because it was supposed to be like freezing, I think. A little bit of rain and freezing. And I said, just take your time. If you get up and the roads are, terrible, it ain't worth you dying over, dude, getting here on time. Like, take your time. And he came in it's amazing. He came in the next morning and he was on time. And he was like, roads were fine.
Not a factor. Yeah.
Now, he does have a saying that says, if we get back late, we start at 8.
That was why I texted you yesterday. I was like, hey, on the road, early morning. Because we had been out, y'all have been out the night before. It was the night we went to dinner.
Yeah. And so if we get back late, and sometimes we're late because of crap we want to do.
Right.
Like, we were late because we went down there with you, we went out to eat, and then I went to Chris's house, and Trey and Sam actually raced Hot Wheels for an hour while I was talking to Chris and Rachel about, they were going to add some cabinets. But we got back late, and I said, see you at 8 o'clock in the morning. Mentally, that does a lot of good for me.
Yeah.
To say, man, dude, if we're out late, we come in at 8 o'clock, it ain't that big of a deal, because I want to be here, I had a guy that worked here, dude, and he wanted to start. He wanted to be on the clock at 6 o'clock, and he was here no later than like 5:35, 5:40 every day. And I was like, I'm not getting here that early.
No.
I may roll in at 6:10, 6:15, and dude, I lived right there. Like,
all you had to do was walk across the yard.
Yeah, I didn't have any travel time, but anyway. Yeah, it's just, keep your head up. Don't drive yourself into a hole to where, you hate being here, and you hate having to come to work. Oh, I got to do this day. And some days are going to be like that, whether you want to or not.
For sure.
But don't make that a habit of every day, because then you start treating it like a real job, and then you can lose passion. And when you lose passion for what you do, the people's house that you're going to put those cabinets in, they're going to wind up paying the price. They're going to have seams that aren't tight and stuff that don't look good, and kind of some stuff that you let go. And, that little thing, that can cost you a lot.
Well, there's something I want to talk to you about that as well. Let's take a little break, and we'll come back. I want to circle back on that. And, because I think we brought up a couple of good points. But I want to. I've got a few talking points that I just want to see what your thoughts are and see if you can expand on them.
All right.
See y'all in just a few minutes.
See ya.
All right. So we were talking. We've been talking a lot about kind of mindsets and and a couple of things. But what I wanted to ask Mitch is um what I'm curious is we both work. I feel like a lot. Um, I think we both had the mindset that it's our business and we're at the shop, and when we're at the shop we're happy. We don't mind being at the shop. But are we there too much?
Are you asking me specifically?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. And it's kind of who you ask. If you ask me, I'll say no. And here's the deal: is I actually truly enjoy being here. Like now that's going to change. So once we get out of the rental, get into my house where it's mine, and I can go dig a hole in the yard if I want to, it's going to be different.
Got some kind of hole fetish?
Yeah, I just love digging them. I don't know why. It's sandy,
Never
real nice
mind.
to
Let's
dig.
skip right over that comment. Let's skip right over that and move on to something else. There's a dirty limerick. Is that a dirty limerick?
Yeah, that it could be a dirty emery. There you go, Brian. But anyway, yeah. So I don't think so now, because being here is almost like therapy for me. Now don't get me wrong. Like I took my wife out to breakfast this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
spend time with the kids, we do stuff with the kids. So I'm not sacrificing anything at home. But
Would Tammy say that you're at the shop too much?
I don't know. That's not a definite yes. Now, if we were living at home, if we were living in the new house, hey, newsflash, but everybody lives at home. If we
Home's
were
where the
living in
heart
a new
is.
house, yeah, and I was over here this much, then she would say, yeah. She would say, you need to come over here and do this and do that. But, Riley's out with the boyfriend, and Tommy is out at grandma's house. And so, it's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But you do have to be mindful of how much time you spend over here.
You do have a third child, just so you remember.
He don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time he's in my back pocket.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah, so however, if the situation was different, I would say, yeah, I spend way too much time here. Now, I don't stay out here till 10:30, 11 o'clock every night like I used to.
Yeah.
But I'll stay out here till 5 or 6. I try to get home when the sun is setting. There's it's kind of funny, but there's a intersection that I go through on the way home, and it's on a hill, and you can see the sunset.
Oh, really?
And so my goal is to see that sunset every day. Now, this time of year is not as practical because that's like at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
But
good old daylight savings time.
You're right. But generally, I try to be mindful of that, and I try to go home, and I try to spend a little bit more time at home. But man, I used to be here 11 o'clock at night, go home, go to bed, wake up the next day, and come back. Because mentally, sometimes I need to be here, and I may not even I don't work here, all the time when I'm here, but as crazy and as hectic as our life is, this is just kind of like a little room I can come in, and it's quiet, and I don't have to worry about anything. And I can because my brain has just always been wide open.
Yeah.
Just it's firing, man. It's going all the time. And so sometimes I just need somewhere quiet that I can relax and just kind of chill out. But absolutely, you can spend too much time doing, something that you like to do, whether it's fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's, working, a hobby, golf, whatever. You do have to be mindful of what you're leaving behind.
Well, the reason I ask is because if you were to, so I would say I don't feel like I work too much. But if you were to ask me, do I feel like I have a good work life balance? I don't feel like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, though?
Yep.
Like, it seems completely weird to say that I don't feel like I work too much. I don't feel like I'm at the shop too much. But when I think about my work life balance, I'm like, all right, but I do work way more than I do life.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I
how
go
to. I
back
don't know what that
to
means. You
no.
know?
Well, we're in a different universe, dude, than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like we're in a different universe than someone who goes to work and they have to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. They get off at 3 in the afternoon. That's it. They're done. They can't wait to leave. They're at a physical building that they have zero vested in. Grocery store, restaurant, bank, you name it. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. And they leave, and then it's like they have a definite cutoff time every day where that company says, okay, as soon as the bell rings, you are done. You are no longer fettered. Who cares if we get anything done while you're gone? We
Yeah.
can shut down the plant. It can catch on fire. You don't care. Our attitude, though, is a lot different because it never shuts down. The door may be closed, the lights may be off, but it never shuts down.
Right.
And
Well, I mean, and I know because like as like business, we're always looking for that next step. Like it's all right. So if I get this done, what can I do next? How can I add? What can we do to to make the business grow? What can we do to make the business more valuable? That it's always a continuous evolution, process as the owner. But it's just it just sometimes it's like you're just doing too much. That you're like, man, am I missing out on anything? Because like one guy on a woodworking, I might have said this before, but on one of like the other woodworking podcasts, the guy was like, I don't really know what to do when I retire because this is what people do when they retire. They start doing woodworking.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know what I would do for a hobby. Like,
well, and another way I look at it is if you went back to, I don't know, the 1600s or 1700s, right?
time machine.
What did the dad do? Like, he didn't sit at home.
Right.
He came home in time to eat supper, spend a little time with the kids, and go to bed. But then maybe on the weekend he had a day, or maybe once every couple of weeks, he had a day where he could kind of hang out with the family and stuff. So part of that is we're battling what everybody else does.
Right.
We're battling everybody else who has a 9 to 5, and when they get off, they're off and they don't care. And then the other side of us is, well, I need to work an hour extra late, tonight, or, I need to go run this. Hey, when we're out grocery shopping, how about let's just run to Lowe's and grab a box of screws or
Right.
a roll of tape or something, And so we see it a lot more. And I think sometimes that can kind of get us in the mindset of, thinking that we're putting more into the business than we are. Now you can't, now absolutely you can still overdo it. You do have to step back and look at your personal life and say, maybe I need to, kind of do some stuff on the weekends, or maybe I need to try to get home an hour earlier every day.
Yeah.
You do have to keep a check on it because it can run away with you quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the week of the snow and all the other week, like Kim's dad would be like, Travis go to work. And she's like, yeah. I mean, ice, snow. I mean, like I had some delayed days. Like I could use, my own decision-making process to decide whether I should go or should I wait, for the warm up a little bit, and, I had that autonomy, which is amazing. Just like, you taking Tammy to breakfast, I mean, you got that autonomy, even though it's a Saturday, but then you go and you do some, you do some things, you go get the business going. And let me tell you something. If you're starting, like, especially, so, I mean, I'm still within that 5-year window. Like I'm still in that first 5 years of this business, of the cabinet business. Not, I think I'm right at 5 years of being out of on my own, but that first 5 years, if you think that you're going to get all this free time by starting a business and working for yourself and all, like you're already down the wrong rabbit hole. I'm just telling you, because you're going to put 3 times more hours into starting a business than you were in whatever career you were in, because it's like a little infant child. It requires constant nurturing and tending to, and even when it's asleep, you got to go in there and check on it to make sure that it's safely asleep. Like it's just this thing that requires love and attention and development, constant, to grow and to get out. So I mean, we did some stats one episode. I mean, that 5-year thing is a real deal. I mean, it's a lot like a marriage. If any of you have been married, you know, I mean, and you've made it outside that 5 years, you look back, that first 5 years was probably somewhere in there was the tough point, almost with everybody. Sometimes the anomaly hits at 6 or 7, but statistically, it's in that first 5 years that it makes or breaks.
And go
and
ask a
business
bank.
is the same way.
Yeah. Ask a bank how long you have to be in business before they'll give you a business line of credit. And that'll tell you what the statistic is, you know. It's just like it's having a baby. You know, it's just like having a newborn. When you have a newborn, there's not a minute goes by that child's not with you. You're not watching it. You're not watching it sleep. Is his chest moving? You know, is he breathing? Well, where's he at? Put him up, pick him up, feed him, change his diaper. It's just constant. But then as the child grows, you can kind of let him go play in his room for a couple hours. You know, you can let him go to a friend's house and be gone, and you know, he's in there watching TV, he's fine or something like that.
But you hear that, and you go, "Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
That's
okay. All right,
spit that out." Yeah.
I mean, but you hear that knock, you hear that bump. You don't. It ain't like it's a 16-year-old kid where you just like, what? They'll come tell me if they're hurt. You know. As a youngin, you're like, "Hey, are you okay?" I mean, a little, you know, yeah, Dad, fine. Okay, just checking. Like,
but just like a business, your method of running that business changes as the business gets older. You know what to do. You know what you're not going to do anymore. You know, and you used to eat your mistakes or whatever. You used to, you know, let all this stuff go and let people take you for a ride. And now you're just like, no, I'm not doing that. If you want me to do that, it's going to cost you this much.
Yeah.
Just like your discipline with a child changes as they get older. No, if you do that again, I'm going to, you know, take your teddy bear away from you or something. You know, you start to get a little bit more stern because the child is now kind of doing stuff on his own and kind of taking care of it. I'm
going to cut you with a hubcap.
I will cut your spine out with a hubcap.
I couldn't remember the body part that you're going to remove. I wanted to say it was a spleen, but I knew that wasn't right.
But yeah, and you know, yeah, babies are fun, but man, when toddlers are real fun. You know, when they start to develop a personality, it's the same with business, dude. Like you do it long enough, you're comfortable with it. You know what you can get done in a day. You got relationships with people. You can kind of relax, shake your hips to Shakira, and go through the shop.
I can't wait to hear how you feel about year 10 to 15 because
they're going to suck.
A 10 to a 15-year-old is kind of a pain in the neck again.
Golly.
Like it comes back around, you know, you're like, oh, this kid.
Look, when your sweet little business gets a boyfriend at 16, you're ready to burn it down some days. Right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's you do have to watch it. I mean, you know, but you can also have fun with it. And everybody's different. Your hours may not be somebody else's hours. You know, some people, like I got a buddy of mine runs his own business, and he's freaking 7 to 3, buddy. He's going to be there at 7, and at 3 o'clock, the machine turns off. He gets in his truck. We'll see you later, Mitch, and he's out. You know, that's what he's comfortable with.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not wrong. That's not incorrect. Like,
nope. Nope. Because he told me, I'll do all this work for you for $7,000. And I said, okay. It doesn't matter to me if he leaves at lunch every day or if he works 12 hours a day. You know, that's just kind of that's his way of doing things, and that's what he likes to do. And so it shows in his work. He's got structure. He's got structured day. He knows what's going on. I respect that. You know,
he probably writes his 5 things down, and he's like, hey, I know I got to get these done by 3 o'clock.
And that's it.
You know,
that's it. Well, I've got how long we have? Are you done with that?
I'm done with that. I think, I think we've beat that thing pretty hard. You know, I mean, it's kind of our general MO, the coaching and the conversation. But I just want to throw this out there for a lot of you. don't think that coaching is a bad word, because we're more reminding ourselves a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yep.
Like a lot of this is just kind of like reminding each other that these are the things that you got to go through, and these are some of the challenges. Like, I don't want it to feel like coaching in a sense that like we think we've got this mastered,
Oh
because
no. Yeah.
I don't. And ask it, and I'll give y'all. I won't give her a phone number, but I'll give you an email. Y'all can email, and I'll let Kim answer emails about it if she thinks Travis has got his stuff wired tight or not. Because I can tell you, she'll tell you I don't. I mean, and it's all those things that we've talked about over the last 30, 45 minutes. And it's not easy to be raw or to expose yourself to admit these things, but I try to be pretty open about what I think my flaws are. My real struggle is like I see the flaws and I'll tell you what they are. It's changing them.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, and actual change that's the
Well, you
hard part.
remember that's why I don't do New Year's resolutions, because I am
Yeah.
terrible at telling myself on some magical day of the year, I'm going to change this aspect of my life. And the next day I'm like, man, forget that. I ain't doing
Right.
that. I
You know how
like
many
the way I
times
live.
you know how many times I've set my alarm at night for like a run or a gym time the next morning, and how many times I've actually followed through with it.
It's so funny with that, because a certain person in my life who I'm not married to, so it's not my wife,
Okay.
because it's a female, but I don't want to tell who. When she listens to this, she's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, she found some kind of workout thing on Facebook, on one of the Facebook ads,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, "Click here, we'll change your life or whatever." And she's like, I might could use that. I might click on that. So she clicked on it, and then they're like, okay, here's this plan. Here's this 4-week plan for $19, or the 12-week plan for $29. Why would they give me this option? Obviously, I'm going to take the 4-week plan. I mean, the
Right.
12-week plan. And I was like, well, maybe they think they can get your money and you'll drop out in 3 days, and now they have your money. And she's like, yeah, but if I buy the 12-week plan for more money and I drop out in 3 days, they made 10 more bucks.
Right. Right.
But now everything she sees on Facebook is an ad.
Oh yeah.
That's that same ad. And she's like, I need to type in here, old cars or something like that, because I'm
Change the
sick of
algorithm.
seeing it. Yeah, and it went on for like 5 minutes is all it took, and Facebook is just flooding her feed with it.
Well,
Golly.
why do you think you can go get your car wash? You can go through the car wash one time for $25, or you can get a monthly pass for $45, and you can come as many times in a month as you want to.
Exactly. Yep.
Because they are counting on the people who just pay their $45 and never use a drop of water.
Now, one
So does
Mr.
your
Charlie,
gym.
they losing money on him, buddy.
Yeah.
Because he goes to town once a week, buys groceries every Wednesday, and every Wednesday that car comes back shining like brand new. When he goes out of town, he gets a car wash. When he goes shopping, he gets a car wash. I mean, he gets
Getting his
his money
dollars
worth,
worth.
buddy. Yeah, yeah. But the other 99.9%, nah, they don't.
I was
They
like,
don't
I went
care.
through it. I went through it after the snow, with all the salt and all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one car wash in town my truck will fit through, and I was like, there's another one on the other side of town that if you pay on your ticket, you get another car wash within 72 hours, right? So you pay
Oh,
$25. Yeah, if you come back within that 72 hour, you get another same car wash for free. I was like, hey, do you guys do that? And he's like, we don't. He's like, I was like, I was just really wanting the underside washed really good. I was like, he's like, I tell you what, he's like, just loop through here again and I'll take care of you. I was like, all right. I mean, sure enough, as soon as I come out, I loop right back through. I was like, hey, it's me. I'm here you said I'd get a free one. I'm here. Like, I wasn't going to let him, wasn't going to risk it. I mean, he said it, so I'd run through there again. I want all that salt off the bottom of my truck.
right. That stuff will wreak havoc, buddy. I'm so
Oh,
glad we don't have it down here.
it's corrosive.
Let me
Well,
see here. Did you
anything on
have?
Facebook?
Yeah, well, I didn't have any that we could really talk about on that one. I'm not doing any dirty limericks there, Brian. I'm not gonna do that. But Jason did send us a message, and he said, "How are you classifying your consumables? Glue, nails, sandpaper, etc. Are you classifying them under job site materials or shop expenses?"
Like,
So,
like on a P&L? Like, I mean,
yeah, on a P&L, I'm assuming is what he's talking about. But what I do is that's just part of that job. So we order in bulk here. We order, some things we order in bulk. We'll order 10,000 screws, 10,000 pocket hole screws, and it's, whatever it is, $115. Well, that just gets put on the way we do our accounting is it's under shop supplies. That's all it is. And at the end of the year, it says, well, you spent, $146,000 on screws this year. Good job.
Yeah.
So that's as long as you claim that on something that you can deduct at the end of the year, because it's hard to do on a job. What are you going to do? I spent $2.78 on screws on Tim's bookcases.
I mean, what do you do? Look back and go, 37 pocket holes.
Yeah.
Did Charlie nail this one? Charlie nailed this job. Okay, so that's an extra. Yeah, so that's 85 nails. It would have been 45, but Charlie put this together.
You ain't lying, man. He's acting double nailing Joker. So what we do is in QuickBooks, every single thing you buy, you can swipe, and we have a folder that's called shop supplies or job supplies. I can't remember the name of it. And it just goes into that folder because the government cares about what you spent a year on that to run your shop. Government don't care what you spend per job, And so when you order in bulk, you can't charge all that to one job and then try to keep up with how much that job costs because there's, $1,200, $1,300 consumable order that you put in that month. Right. And you charge that to Miss Sue's cabinet job. And you're like, whoa, my profit's gone. Like my profit margin is not where it should be. So we just, at the end of the year, we
but you
open
can.
that
Some
folder
people will do that though. Some people will let one job take a hit for the consumables for an entire month, and then they let the profit on the other 3 jobs for that month be really high.
Yeah,
like you can let one job on paper look like you did it essentially for free. Now I'm trying to make sure this year that I do a better job of equipment versus shop supplies, like consumables and things. Like I've kind of been lumping like shop together. So this year I'm trying to really make sure equipment gets accounted for, and because I want to make sure it gets depreciated a little bit better in the accounting world, and the value gets recognized better than the consumables. So that's something to consider too.
So to me, shop expenses, that's insurance, workers' comp, electricity, water, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then anything else, nails and sandpaper, like I said, we have a separate folder for that. So we know what we spent that year. And, like your first year, I remember when we first got on the Orsi system, which is something that is supposed to be kept, full. Boy, when I had to fill that Orsi system up,
it hurts.
It hurt, man. It was almost $4,000 of stuff that didn't go to one job.
Right.
I couldn't charge that one customer for that. And so we kind of had to eat that, But then you don't buy it again for 3 or 4 months,
right.
So it's just, there's no way for buying in bulk, is not, I'm too lazy. I'm not going to take the time to sit and try to break down everything. Now, drawer guides, we pretty much buy per job.
Yeah. Hinges and drawer guides, I do.
Yeah. Because we don't always run the same ones. Sometimes this company will be having a sale, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll get guys through you. And this company will be having a sale. And what you don't want to do is because drawer guides come in 2 pieces. A piece that goes on the drawer if you're using side mounts, and a piece that goes in the cabinet. Well, a hardware resources guide will not accept a Pro Series guide. And we've been there where we've just randomly mixed and matched them, and nobody thought to keep up with what goes where. We get on job site and we're swapping guides in the cabinets. We're trying to hunt that, and it was hours we lost doing that.
Yeah.
So I learned then either buy from one place, which isn't always the best thing to do, or buy per job. And so now we pretty much buy per job.
Yeah, I pretty much buy per job now. Like slides, I end up with slides like an overload, because one place that I was ordering from, I could order, if I wanted 4, I could order 4. If I wanted, 5, I could get 5. And then another place won't break a box open, so you're ordering them 6 at a time, even though you only need 3. So then you get this like surplus built up. So like I'll have a job that gets no slides charged to it because I've got some built up.
Yeah. And you always want some, like I'm not sitting on zero inventory.
Yeah.
I have, there's probably, I don't know, all in all 60, 70 slides back in there that's sitting there. Because somebody may come in and be like, Mitch, I want you to make this vanity for me. I'm like, shoot, I'll make that on Saturday.
Yeah.
And boom, I got slides back there. So
yeah,
we just kind of leave
to have any excess, like to have that much excess,
Yeah.
I get like 4 or 5 slides, and I'm like, where do I put these? I just don't have that. I don't have as much room as you do.
I have got a splinter in my hand.
Is that what you're messing with?
Yeah, and I'm
because I feel like you're texting. Like,
no,
I'm
actually here with a. You remember this little guy?
Oh, I've seen that guy before. Yeah. That's probably not the best splinter puller I've ever seen, but
well, it's all I got, and it's extremely distracting. So
right, there's nothing. You probably saw me messing with it at first. I had a little piece of a hangnail underneath this thumb, and it was wearing me out right when we started recording.
Look, you guys that aren't watching on YouTube,
yeah, you're missing a show.
you don't know what's going on.
It's a shit show, but you're missing a show.
I'm sitting over here with no earbuds on. I can hardly hear Travis. I got all my volumes maxed out, and I'm like,
I'm super jealous because my ears are sweating and itching right now, though.
Yeah,
but hey, you know what? I'm gonna bring you Monday to get you by. I got a pair.
Ooh. Uh-oh, something just fell.
Well, it's my box of crap I brought with me for the podcast. I got these.
There you go. Yeah.
Plug-ins. I'll bring them to you Monday morning.
Yeah, I may have to try those out.
They're okay. I mean, they're really not that bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'll get you through the next one or so until Amazon shows up.
Which is another 4 days or something.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Man brought a backup. Oh, was that the OG mic?
That's the OG mic.
Oh no.
Yeah, I brought it just in case. But I thought that I brought the Scarlett so that I could hook up 2 mics, but I didn't.
Oh well, I've got mine here.
Yeah, but anyway, my computer's about I gotta buy a new computer. It's when you go to like the CPU and you look to the memory, it's just a red line now. It's just like it's like screaming, "Please stop!
I'm doing the best I can.
Please stop adding stuff to me."
Can you please get one with a bigger screen, please? Please,
dude. This is like a 16-inch screen.
I don't know how big this one is. This one's probably close to 2 foot on the diagonal.
Well, for a laptop, this is a big screen for a laptop.
Yeah, my eyes ain't that good.
I know.
I can't see it.
I got eagle eyes. I can see.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that. So I got a story to tell you. Some of you may have seen the post on Facebook about a cord of wood. So I'm going to discuss that.
Here we go. Still on this wagon train.
Listen.
Did you get ripped off again? Like, did you have to have a battle with the guy again?
Oh, I got ripped off like an old Band-Aid, cuz.
Oh.
I mean, I'm talking. I'm talking, I'm ripped.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. Then you can tell us about your Band-Aid ripping, and then we'll close this thing up.
Yeah, because I'm sick of it.
Sick of it. And get your splinter out during the break.
Yeah, we'll be right back and get this dang splinter out.
All right, we're going splinter hunting. We'll be back. It's a forehead. Get it? Forehead. All right. We had successful splinter expedition.
It is out. YouTube, it is out. I lost it. It fell, but I got it out.
I thought you were going to frame it.
I show there'll be another one.
You could have used that one to tighten up a screw with, stick it in the hole and make a wedge. It's a big one.
Yeah. So
all right, firewood. Fire away with your firewood.
You guys, y'all need to understand my frustration. We used to cut, stack, load, and deliver firewood, $35 a load. I know how much a cord is, guys. You're not gonna get one over on me. A cord is a stack of wood 4 foot deep, 4 foot tall, and 8 foot long. It's 128 cubic feet. That's a lot of wood. A cord of wood will not fit on any pickup truck made in America today. If somebody brings you a pickup load and calls it a cord, it's not a cord. A cord is a volume, 128 cubic feet. I don't care how you split it up. It's 128 cubic feet. Half a cord is 64 cubic feet, believe it or not.
You can't fit a cord on your 8 foot
bed?
No.
Really? No.
4 foot. So it's 4 foot by 4 foot.
By
4
8
foot
foot
tall.
Long. Yeah.
4 foot wide, 4 foot high.
Yep.
8 foot long.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'd be 2 feet over the bed, over 2 feet over the bed.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I ordered some at, a full cord. They brought half a cord. I told the guy, he goes, well, I'll give you the other half a cord, obviously, because we don't do business like that. But that ain't how we do business. I said, okay, great. Call me when you get low. I said, okay. I called him when I got low. I said, I got about a week left. He goes, okay. A week goes by. We run slap out of wood. And he goes, oh, I don't have any.
Oh.
I won't have any for a week. Okay, but you owe me half a cord. Like, I've already paid for it. I'm not ordering half a cord. You owe me half a cord. Right? So anyway.
So we've got a Seinfeld moment here.
Yeah.
Is what we have. He's got the reservation. He's just not holding the
You just didn't hold the reservation, which is really the most important part of the reservation. Anybody can just take the reservation.
Take. You took my money. Now I'd like my firewood.
Yeah. So anyway, I found somebody else who's all over Facebook. Oh, we got firewood. If you want firewood, we got your firewood. 2 days later, they messaged me back, my wife back, because they never would message me back. And I said, just give me half a cord. I'll come pick it up. And they're like, okay, it's $150 for half a cord. I said, okay, well, that's about on par, whatever. So I go, and I'm looking at the pile. It's dark. All they have is an LED light on front of a four-wheeler. We're in the middle of this field with a huge pile of wood, right? Pitch black outside. All you can see is little light coming off four-wheeler. So I write the check. I give it to him, and I talk to his kid. It's for his kid. He's like, man, write it out to my kid. This is his business. He's doing it. But I told him I always give more than they order. I always give them more than they order. And I was like, okay, that's a good business, concept. They throw the wood on the back. I'm not paying attention. I run around. Tammy's gone, whatever, get home, go back next day. Trey and I
you have been a little busy in the last week or so. I mean, I will say that. I mean,
Trey and I stacked the wood up, and I'm like, who stole half of the wood off the back of my truck? Because this is nowhere near half a cord. And it was a quarter cord is what it was. So I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm not even. Now, there's a rick of firewood I'm not going to get into, but there's a cord of firewood. Then there's a face cord of firewood. And a face cord is one row of firewood that's 4 foot tall and 8 feet long. That's called a face cord. Because if you look at the cord, it's basically 3 rows of 16-inch firewood, 4 feet tall, 8 feet long. So the face of that cord is one row, 4 feet tall, 8 foot long. This man done sold me half a face cord of wood for $150. It's a quarter cord. That means you want to get $600 for a cord of wood. So he's out, and I had this big long talk
business,
man. And I had this long talk with the kid, and I was like, hey, as long as you treat your customers right, we'll keep coming back. I'll come back and get a cord from you, whatever. And I feel like it's aggravating because you are in the firewood business. Do I expect grandma to know what a cord of wood is? No. And I know y'all are ripping her off.
Right.
But I know what a cord of wood is. Unfortunately, I would rather move on, get done with my life. I don't go on Facebook and call people out. Now, I did make a post on Facebook about how much a cord is, but I didn't call no names. Interestingly enough, check this out. On the way over here, I get a text from the first guy who still owes me half a cord. This is after the Facebook post.
Uh-huh.
He goes, hey, I got that other half a cord whenever you're ready for it. I was like, okay, thanks. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah,
but let me tell you something. If that some gun ain't half a cord, I'm going to slash his tires out here in front of my shop. I am sick of being ripped off with firewood.
Well, I got a question for you, though, about the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think it's possible? How old is this kid, do you think?
I think it was like 13.
Okay. So, do you think it's possible that this kid is being told by his dad what a cord is, what a rick is, whatever all these terms are, and the dad's just wrong? Like, do you think it's worth a conversation for the kid's sake to say, hey, I just want to let you know I got the wood from you. This is not a cord for future reference. This is what equals a cord. You're going to lose business if you keep doing this to customers. Maybe the dad's just wrong. And it's
yes, it would be worth it, but I don't know these people. So,
I mean, what's the worst that could happen though? That they just think you're some kind of weird a-hole and they're like, this dude's just weird, or they research it and they go, oh, this guy is pointed out a very important flaw in our business.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, when I got there, I was like, a lot of people don't, because he was like, man, look at all this wood. This will get you for the rest of the winter. Like, he's talking us up like it's a Titanic load of wood.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there, and this was the daddy.
Oh, this was the dad. Okay.
This was daddy. And I was like, well, maybe it's more than it looks with just this little flashlight out here or whatever. But these people are also in the community. Everybody knows these people. And let's just say it would be bad for their business because they own another business.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you go around and start stirring up a bunch of stuff, they got a lot of people that's going to back them up, and it could wind up backfiring on me if I made a stink about it. And I may call him. He might call me and be like, hey, you need some more wood. And I'm like, no, we had a misunderstanding. Then I would tell him, you guys sold me a quarter of a cord for $150. And I took pictures of it when we unloaded it. So it's like, here's the pictures. Because when I got there, I said, yeah, a lot of people don't know a cord's 128, cubic feet. And he goes, no, it's 64 cubic feet. And I'm thinking, well, that's half a cord. But then I was like, maybe that's because I ordered half a cord. Maybe that's why he's telling me I'm getting 64. You know what I'm saying? The way the conversation was, I didn't really understand what he was saying. But now looking back, I think he's trying to tell me that a full cord of wood is 64 cubic feet. It's just not.
Yeah.
And we preach about that kind of stuff all the time. Like I would never do that, dude. I would never, quote out a cabinet for 100 linear feet of base cabinets and they're only getting 75.
Yeah.
Or in this case, 50.
Yeah, I mean, at worst, like probably 100 linear feet, and they're actually getting 102.
Exactly. Yep. So it's just a rant, man. Don't do people dirty. I don't care if you're doing firewood or what, because
know your business. Know your business, whatever it is.
I've spent 300, 250. That's $550 plus 150. I've spent $700 this year on firewood, and I'm missing 1 1/4 cords.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of wood I'm missing that I did not receive.
Yeah.
I can take that $700, and believe me, this will 100% happen. And I could buy a splitter.
Yeah.
Because do you know why I buy wood? Because I don't want to split it. I don't have time to split it. You know how long it takes to split a cord of wood? A long time, with a sledgehammer and a wedge, or what we call a busting maul down here. Busting maul. It takes a long time.
That's not bust them all. That's a busting maul.
A maul that busts.
But for a long time, because I'm not real country, I thought it was a bust them all.
Bust them all. Bust all the wood. Bust them all.
BUST apostrophe EM space ALL.
Bust them all. Well, I mean, they're interchangeable. You say them both the same.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get a splitter. And then, so I was ranting to my brother, and he was like, dude, I got a nice splitter. Like, because he can get all the logs I want. I don't have anything in logs.
Yeah.
I can go down there, and so we're setting it up right now. He's like, I'm going to need some firewood too. So I'll start getting some logs down here, and we'll do 3 or 4 cords, dude, and we'll just stand there all day and split it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do, because now I'm not giving these people my money. Huh?
Put some kids down there on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, Mom's not going to let them work because Chris had the little, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Chris cut half his hand off in one. So Mom's probably not going to be a fan of the kids down there running it.
Well,
but they can load it. They can sure load it up. And, buddy, I'm bringing a truck and a trailer, and I'm dropping the axle on that sucker. That's how much wood I'm getting. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
That's a struggle. See, most of the time I can keep this kind of stuff. If I ever start ranting on Facebook about something, I've had it. Yeah. I have had it. You guys done got me for 1 1/4 cords that I didn't get, so you're gonna hear about it.
Well, I made a Facebook rant the other week on Facebook, and I got into it with one person. My wife told me I had to drop the conversation.
What was that? I missed that.
I said, what did I say?
Oh, I know what it was. It was the Disneyland one.
It was the Disney World one. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how I said it, but I was like, don't Bible thump on. I was like, don't Bible thump on Facebook and then post pictures of you celebrating at Disney.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
Most anti-Christian organization.
You can share whatever you want to share on Facebook, and you can share all your religious posts, and you can share everything that's got a Bible verse at the end of it. That's fine. I don't care. But if you're gonna do things like that, then live it all the way, whatever it is. Like just be consistent with whatever you are. Like, I mean, I don't post anything really religious, and I don't really talk about a whole lot of religious things. I don't really post on Facebook anyway, but I just don't have that conversation. Like, it's just the way I am. So that's just my thing. I'm just more tired of people being like one way. Like, it's just, I don't want to see you at the bar on Friday night. Then you tell me how great church was on Sunday either.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I know, I get it, but.
Well, you know what happened to Chris and I when we went and looked at that sawmill a while back? He went into the gas station and he said, "I'm gonna go ahead and get me a cold beer." I said, "All right, go in there and get you one." So he goes in the gas station and he's looking around, looking. No beer, no alcohol, no wine, no nothing. And Chris, he's like, "Hey, y'all ain't got no beer. What a beer?
Gotta ask."
Yeah, y'all ain't got no beer. This is the lady's response. "Oh, well, the owners are really Christian, and they're against alcohol, so they will not sell alcohol here. Chris says, oh, okay. And so I looked at Chris and I said, however, if you want a Black and Mild, a vape, cigarettes, Red Man, smokeless tobacco, any of this stuff here, you can buy it, you know?
Right.
And she's like, yeah, I've always wondered about that. But, you know, she just worked there. She's like, I've never asked. And I said, okay. I said, well, just keep that in mind. You know,
I bet
maybe
they
you
make
might
employees work on Sunday too, so they can be open.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know,
And so Chris and I got in a conversation about that. And because Chris is not, you know, outwardly religious, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's not super outwardly religious, but he was like, I don't understand that, why you wouldn't sell alcohol, but yet you sell tobacco. But if I bet their pastor would tell them tobacco is not good to do, just like alcohol is not good. Like if they're against alcohol, they're going to be against tobacco. You know.
Well, it says don't be drunk in the spirit, or I can't remember the exact words, but it specifically says don't be drunk. It doesn't say don't inhale.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. There's nothing against it in the Bible against tobacco.
No, you know.
I tried that with a preacher one time. He looked at me kind of over his eyes, and I said, "Okay, I was just going to throw it out there. I'm just
asking. I'm just asking for educational purposes, so I can, yeah."
But yeah, so it's, you know, people. I don't know, man. That was something else. But
that's
yeah,
just
so
me.
I went on
just be who you are all the time. Like, just if that's you, like, just be you and be proud of who you are. Because if you're not proud of who you are, then you shouldn't be who you are. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, just I don't know. It's frustrating,
man. It's aggravating.
I don't like people who like to live this one persona on social medias, and then they live this other persona in life. You know?
Yeah.
It just.
And that's one thing I'm proud of Tammy, because Tammy's not one that is all doom and gloom, and she's not one that is all everything is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, especially when she started painting that house, buddy. Like, I was sitting there reading those, man. She's like, man, I've been out here 3 days. This sucks. It's hot. I'm tired, you know, and this and that. And I'm like, that's really what's going on in her life.
Right.
And she's out there, you know, like she found out today, she went back there and hung all the doors. And she realized that the painted doors, we've got paint grade doors and knotty pine doors. And she realized the knotty pine doors had different hinges than the paint grade doors. So some of them weren't closing. So she kind of figured that out. And now she's going through the house swapping hinges. Boy, she was hot today. She was upset. And I was like, oh, goodness.
At your house?
At the new house, yeah.
At the new house? You got cabinets up already?
No, man doors. Interior doors.
Oh, interior doors. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I missed the cabinet build completely.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. And Brandon's like, hey, y'all need to be getting some cabinets in there, you know. And I'm like, stop calling me then, dude, because you're the reason I can't put cabinets in here.
I know.
You remember that big altar job that we did a while back, the huge one? Yeah. So we were over there. I don't know. I had to put a piece of hardware on or something. Anyway, a couple of little things. And we were waiting on her to tell me where she wanted floating shelves in the guest bath. She wanted a couple of them over the toilet. So I had to go back. And once she figured out where she wanted them. And so he was walking by, the builder was walking by, and I was like, hey, I said, man, I ain't trying to be ugly, but is there a chance I can get the second half payment on this job? I mean, it's a pretty big job. And he just kind of laughed and walked out, you know. And Tommy was like, man, he ain't gonna pay you, Daddy? I said, he paid me like 3 months ago. And Brandon walked back in. He goes, you know what, Mitch? It never hurts to ask, does it? I said, nope, never hurts to ask.
No. I mean, if you're willing to write me another check, I'll take it.
I'll sure take it. But well, that's what we have. That's what we have coming up.
Well, we need to know what's up with your foot, though. Let's before we.
Oh yeah, so I did go to the doctor, and he was proud of me because I had my foot flat on the floor. You know, it wasn't like toes pointed down or nothing. And he walks in and he was like, he told the nurse, he goes, look, he's already flat. He can put it flat on the floor. And I'm like, yeah, I'm over here bragging on myself. You know, oh yeah, look at me, you know. And he's like, well, we did the surgery where we removed part of your tendon and put it back on. He said, you didn't rupture it. So the chances of your Achilles rupturing are like zero. We're not worried about that at this point. We just have to get it all stretched back out. And I said, okay, that's good to know. And he looks at the nurse. He was like, just take all the wedges out of the boot. Just let him walk flat. He's already flat. And I was like, awesome, dude. Maybe that saved a couple of weeks off, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, good. So she rips the wedges out the bottom of the walking boot. I put the walking boot back on, and I'm acting all big and bad like it ain't no thing. And I leave that door, man, and I was like, ooh.
A little painful.
It was. It didn't have to be that stretched out with weight on it. Keep in mind, for 5 weeks.
Right.
That foot hadn't really been in that position. So it's been a couple of days, and, you know, it's a little stiff in the morning, but it kind of wears out, you know, going through the day. It's not that bad. And I'm in the boot now with no wedges for 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And then after that, the boot's probably going to come off. And I don't know if they're going to put wedges.
Or do you get like after that, or are you in a shoe, or?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to a shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll be 2 months after.
I really want them to put you in like some kind of old man Velcro.
You know, that's what Chris has.
Orthopedic shoe. Does he really?
The straps won't even close. Like, Mom's got to cut the straps and add spacers in them because they won't even close over his feet. It's so funny. He's got this little cheap, mine's got a pump on it, right? I can pump it up and put air in it. His don't. And his don't come up as high as mine. It's super uncomfortable. The straps won't fit. And he's like, how come I didn't get a boot like Mitchell? You know, Rachel's like, well, you didn't have the same surgery as Mitchell, you know? And I was like, yeah, well, you know.
Well, he wouldn't have worn it. He wouldn't have wore it to start off with anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that got him. That got him in trouble. Little hard-headed joker.
Did you you told on air the story of you taking your mom to the whole toe swap story. That was, you told that on the podcast.
Yeah.
We've talked so much in those last 2 weeks that we don't normally do, you know, I mean, and next week is going to be really bad. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what next week's podcast will be like because we will be together. I mean, for almost an entire week. So it's really getting blurry what's off air and on air type kind of conversations. But you did. I have told that story to a few people. My brother-in-law was here. He stopped by and ate lunch here the other day, and I said, "Let me tell you this story," since he knows both of you, you know, because him and Chris graduated together. They're the same age,
yeah,
you know. And I was like, "Let me tell you this." Let me tell you. He's like, "Oh my God!" And that's something he would make up and say to somebody, you know, too, you know.
Right. Yep. Yeah. He gets the humor, and we had the lady going.
Oh yeah.
Like the lady honestly thought that I was growing my brother's toe on my foot. She thought that. Because here's the thing, who's going to go into a pizza place and make something like that up?
Well,
you know, here comes these two dudes, and they both have a boot on, and
they're Turner boys.
Yeah, they're with their mom, you know, and Mama's just over there shaking her head, and Mama said, "They're lying to you. That's not. They both had surgery." And I was like, we had her going. Like, you know how hard it is to keep a straight face when all this is going on?
I could just Sam go, "Daddy, you don't have a toe?"
Yeah. Well, he knows his daddy too good, too. He knows just sit there and let him say whatever.
This
is the same guy now that had a shirt on in Lowe's that said, "I make crap up." Oh. He's got a shirt that says that. And some old lady was asking him for help, like where the sheetrock is or something like that. And he sent her to the garden center. Like whatever it was, he was like, "Oh, yes, over there in the garden center." She just walks off, and he's like, and I said, "Chris, how could you do that, man?" He goes, "She can't see my shirt. She don't see that my shirt literally says I make beep up on my shirt." Right. I said, "Well, you got a fair point, buddy, I guess."
Oh,
I'm looking forward to next week, man. I really am.
It's gonna be fun. We'll have a blast for sure. Well, yeah. So next week, just be on the socials, and who knows what you'll see. We'll definitely have a lot of content coming out next week as we're together. We'll go through the build, and then we'll go through that build, and I'm going to try to document the build and the install like as much as I possibly can, like as one continuous process. I may even get on the old Amazon and see how fast I can get another camera here.
Ooh. Well, you're in a little podunk town, so good luck.
Well, it's faster than Look, I'm now used to slow mail, so just drive to
And I
Amazon and
had
pick it
this. I
up.
was thinking, I have this camera in here. If we can find out a way to speed the video, like record the video at 3 times speed or 4 times speed, we have to move it back. But we will have some footage of that. Like if you come in here and you trip and fall accidentally because Trey trips you up, then it'll be on video, and then we can post it. Just remember, when you get here, everything you do is on camera. Everything.
That's
you
right.
Scratch your butt, you're gonna go down in infamy.
Well, I tend to scratch my butt a lot, or as Kim calls it, my head.
I'm gonna get you dancing. We're gonna get some music going, man. We're gonna have like snacks.
I don't know if you'll catch a dance because that's like a by myself moment thing. Like
we got to get you relaxed enough, man. I've got whiskey here. We've got snacks. We've got drinks. We've got Vienna sausages, crackers.
Yeah. So you'll get me hurling on camera.
Yeah. Because why is this cabinet so crooked? What are you talking about?
Why? If I have to eat Vienna sausages for lunch, it might be a little sketchy day. Tell Tammy I'm bringing my $5 for lunch.
Yeah. I'll let her know. We'll put you on the payroll.
I'm gonna bring my $5. I'm only gonna bring it 2 days. I'll just sit in the truck the rest of the day.
Yeah. Oh, you'll eat good here, I promise you.
Oh, dear God. Let me tell you something. I ain't gone hungry yet.
At that house you at, I know you ain't gonna go hungry.
The groceries are good here. Although we had a little snafu with dinner tonight. Just saying, not the mother-in-law's fault. She tried to order from a local restaurant that we like to eat at. There aren't many options. So she got on the app. She placed the order. They took her money. She went by there to pick it up, and they're closed.
Oh,
not open today.
How do you resolve that?
I guess you call them on Monday. So she come home. Goodness. So I'm expecting. I'm ready for a ribeye to show up at the table. Nice. I mean, most consistent ribeye. It's not the best ribeye I've ever had. It's a very high scaled ribeye, but it's one of the most consistent ribeyes that I've ever had, like time after time. So I'm expecting to be here. Walks in, she goes, I am mad. I was like, what do you mean? And they're closed. And they took her money.
A ribeye?
Uh-huh.
You have to tell me where that was.
Alabama Grill.
Oh, well, I've never eaten there, so that's why.
Downtown. Yeah. It's good. It is good. But they have really weird hours. And it's all
well, they'll probably
they'll make it right.
Yeah, they know everybody, so I'm sure they'll work with you.
Yeah. Or they'll call, at 5:15 Monday night and be like, hey, your steak is ready. Why didn't you come pick it up?
Yeah. Now, who was going to deliver it?
She went and picked it up.
Oh, she's going to pick it up. That's right. You said you ordered it. Okay. She's going to pick it up. Yep. Good ice cream place.
I don't think anything delivers here. Anything.
There's a good ice cream place by the church downtown on the front side of the courthouse.
Oh, really?
The old brick building. Yeah. Going to get some ice cream.
Okay.
But yeah, y'all stay tuned for next week. Next week is going to be wild and crazy. We're going to probably take some pictures of Travis measuring a full house and taking notes. And
I got my laser ready.
Got lasers. We're going to go. We're going to go in there. Oh, by the way, when you had that laser out at Cindy's house,
what did Trey say?
Trey was like, should I do it? I said, yeah, get it out. And that's why he got the other laser out and got right behind you and shooting my laser up to the ceiling.
Was he making fun of me? That was making fun of me?
No, he was just like, oh, he going to break out a laser. We got a laser too, So he broke that one out and started using it.
I'm a one-man band, Trey. I don't have anybody hold the tape measure on the other end of the wall. That's why I have a laser. Jerk.
Hey, how nice is that laser though, dude?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
This one's supposed to download to my app. Like I was supposed to be able to walk it through the room and it lay out the walls on the app or something. I don't know how to do it. But
yeah, I had that one and it come up missing. I think I left it on a job site one day.
Funny, I found this one at a job site one day.
Well, I'm pretty sure that wasn't my job site.
It's not.
Charlie asked me, he goes, well, why is Travis building the cabinets in your shop? I said, because Tennessee is a long way away to drive back and forth every day, Charlie. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. I'm like,
Is he going
yeah,
to come
yeah.
by?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I got to put, I got to put two and two together,
Dude, we'll talk about it offline, but I need you to bring it with Charlie. That's
All right.
because you'll do it. I won't do it, but you'll do it. And that is going to be just so hilarious.
I'll bring it. I'll bring it. I almost wish I had a camera the other day when I went by Vaughn Plywood.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because to start off with, I went in the wrong door.
What'd you do? Go through the front door or something?
Well, come on. Let's be honest. It ain't really clear.
Right.
What you're supposed to go into. Like, so we need to post a picture of this building on the front. It's different. All right. Well, there's trucks parked on the street. So I parked where those trucks were, and there's a door, like a man door. Now it goes down below ground for some reason. And I kind of looked in, and I felt like I was behind people when I looked in, but I was like,
oh, yeah.
So I knocked, and I heard it unlock, and they opened the door like barely, and I was like, yeah, I was coming to talk to you guys about some material. Oh, the front's around there. And then, they're like,
the
so I
front's
drove
around back.
Yeah. So you drive around, which is really the side, and it's still not very clear. Like, I parked there, and I was like, do I go in? Do I go in here? I mean, some guy come tootling through on a forklift, about took me out. Said, "What's up, buddy?" I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hold on." And then I was like, "I need some Crown." He's like, "I got Crown right there." And he just kind of left me there to look. And I looked. And I was like, "Okay, any MDF?" Nope, no MDF, just popper. I mean, high end Crown, nice, all kinds of high end woods, oaks, and ashes and all that good stuff. I was like, okay. I was like, well, not really what I'm looking for. And then went and talked to the guys. But I was really going to give the guys a hard time. I was going to kind of razz them, but they didn't seem, wasn't sure if they were in the being razzed mood.
Well, it depends on who you talk to around there.
Yeah.
So they got one dude that's like really clean cut, and he's really he's dry as cat litter.
He was the guy on the left. He was at the desk on the left.
Blonde hair or dark hair?
One guy had on an Alabama hat, was at the right desk. And the other guy,
it just depends on who was sitting there, probably. But most of the time when I go in, I go right to the owner's office, and I go in there and cuss at him a little bit, and he cusses at me, and we talk about each other a little bit, and then we sit down and handle a little business, and I walk out. But yeah,
which always, I don't know where mills and plywood places find they like have one personality type they hire.
Yeah.
At all. They all have the same personality type that they hire.
Yeah.
But then they all act the same way when you're looking for like a recommendation for somewhere else to go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it really changes, even though I brought them back when I like explained, when I was talking to them about order materials from you, and then I was going to be getting, and all that stuff. They come back around, but there for 1 second, they pretty much just thought you were there to suck up information and weren't ever going to give them $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
But every one of them, this is not on them. Every one of those places do that. Every one of them,
Well,
that's why the general public don't need to shop there, because they'll hurt your feelings. The general public can't handle it. I'm just telling you.
I mean, it's not locker room, because there's no nobody talks vulgar.
Right.
But dude, sometimes when I walk in there, you think that, we hated each other.
Oh, it's He-Man Woman Haters Club for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no women allowed. Not no women allowed, but no like non-cabinet, non-builder people.
You're right.
Like,
yep.
That's why,
I got a friend of mine that's looking for 1 sheet of 3/4 knotty pine, 1 sheet. And I said, you can go in there. I said, tell him I told you to go by there, but just, because it does us a favor by them not selling to the general public.
Right.
There's a reason they do it. I didn't understand that at first, but there's a reason they do it. But anyway, yeah, you'll get to know them a little bit, especially the guy that's going to bring the wood down here. If you're here when we unload the truck.
Yeah.
Oh, every time, dude, he goes, well, Charles said this was going to be cash on delivery. And I'm like, nope, not going to happen. He's like, dang. I said, dude, you've been trying to get me to pay cash for this stuff for 6 years. I ain't never done it.
And then you pay cash on delivery, and then you still get a bill.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to pocket that money, but
right.
But yeah, we'll go to the suppliers and stuff, and I'll kind of show you, maybe the what's where I don't know. I'm getting tired. Just kind of how we deal with each other. It's pretty funny, especially the paint guy. You got to meet the paint guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. He was over there with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He went over there really early in the war.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and he's big in the VFW. He runs the VFW up in Prattville.
Okay.
I mean, just big old huge dude, but he's a teddy bear,
Gotcha.
So, But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, man. It's gonna be fun. We ain't gonna get nothing done, but it's gonna be fun.
We better have something done.
Sorry, Cindy.
I got Mama to deal with. She's ready for me to come home.
Yeah, I'll give you a jigsaw. You can do it yourself. I mean, what's the big deal?
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. We appreciate everyone for coming in. Send us some requests, offcuts at styleboyz.com. And again, just thanks for your patience. Thanks for your endurance. Anybody that's listening, we just really appreciate it. Comments, like, comment, share. What else we got? Oh, stickers are in.
Yep.
If you want a sticker, shop sticker, or whatever you want to do with it, send me your address to offcuts at styleboyz.com, and I will mail you shop stickers.
Yes.
One. I'll email you one shop sticker.
One.
If you want a second one, email Mitch Turner at Yahoo. No, I'm just kidding. And he'll send you the second one. No.
If you want from me, send me a message, and I'll just send you one. So
just if you need, I got a good chunk of them, but I don't have like a slew of them. So, but if you do want like multiples, like say you want to put one on a one thing and you want to put one up in the shop, just tell me, hey, I need 2 or 3. Just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to drop one in the envelope. And the envelope costs more than the sticker does because we need to privatize the post service. But
if you're yes, we do. If you're lucky enough, you'll get a cat scratch sticker in the envelope as well.
Oh,
take that.
Just saying.
All right, good deal. Let's do it. Let's get together on Monday. That's 2 days from now. Let's go you better get some sleep. It's gonna be a wild day.
Yep. Well, I'm sure I'll talk to you in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll have to sort something else that I've screwed out with the drawing. So anyway, all right, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next week on the socials.
y'all.
Later.